Hi guys, and welcome back to another exciting episode. In this episode we are going to be looking at spa pools, and this is my spa pool here. I've had it for about 5 years and it's been pretty good. I've quite enjoyed having it. So we'll be looking at all the different features of spa pools. We're going to visit a spa pool retailer, so we're going to have a look to see what's available, including swim spas. We're going to look at the maintenance side. On this one I've got to do a little bit of maintenance today, so I thought it was an ideal opportunity to do a quick video on it. So we're going to drain this and we're going to test the water, which is one of the things that you do with spa pools, and a lots more. So stay tuned, and this will be a good video for if you're looking to buy a spa pool. You'll be fully informed at the end of the video, I am sure. So there's different features with the spa pool. You've got pop-up lights, which are also actually speakers. You've got the controls here with jets. Jets 1, that's the jets. And then there's some massage jets, which are really nice if you've had a hard day and your muscles are a bit sore. You've got a blower that blows up air, and that's pretty much it. And then usually you'll have a waterfall feature like this one, which is quite nice. And then you have lights. You probably can't really see the lights at the moment, but the lights will light up at night, especially nice if you want different little functions there that you can use. Quite like the blue one personally. And then also this one's got an aromatherapy thing where you can put various things in, like lavender. That just opens up and then it infuses a bit of a smell into the water, which I'm not too keen on because I think it does actually is not too good. So guys, that's the features of this spa pool. I think we've got them all there, and quite a few. Internally, you've got, generally speaking, you've got two pumps. For the better spa pools. For the cheaper spa pools, only one pump, and the one pump will tend to sort of be a little bit noisier because it's working all the time, and so it's a little bit more irritating. So I definitely recommend to go for the two pumps. One is dedicated to doing the filtration, and the other one is for just pumping the water out. So definitely do that. Pay the little extra for the pumps.
It's an ABS plastic base.
Yep.
And then insulation, and then the pumps are placed on rubber mounts on top of insulation, and it's very extremely quiet. So it'll only be when you turn on the jet set, people in the bedroom will be able to hear it.
Yep. That's what I noticed too. Is that it's only when it comes on, which is not that bad.
And of course, you can set the spa for the circulation pumps to not come on at night time.
Yeah.
So they just come.
Yeah. These spa pool covers are pretty easy to operate. You basically just pull them back, and then you grab them and you give them a little bit of a push. They hinge back and then sit back like that. And that's actually quite good. So when you're planning the pool cover, you have to make sure that it goes on the right side. In this case, we're putting it towards the fence, not in front of the view, because we have a view that way and that way of the garden. So we wanted to keep those views open when sitting in the spa pool. One nice feature about spa pools that I really do like is this feature here where you can just lock down the lid, and that makes it child-proof or child-secure, especially when you're not in use. And so you just basically push that in the lock there, and that locks in, and then you have a little key that pushes up underneath and then pushes that out, and that is pretty much child-proof. Okay, so spa pools come in different sizes. The one I've got is about 2.1 meters by 2.1 meters. That's what you classify as a medium, maybe to a large. The largest ones in spa pools is around about 2.4 meters, and that fits around about 6 to 8 people. In here, I'd say about 4 people would be comfortable. Any more, you could probably squeeze in 5, but if you're wanting six to 8 people, definitely go for the 2.4 meter size. I think you can get smaller spas down to around about sort of 1.8 meters, but they're really more sort of like 2 people spas. Yeah, so that's the size range. Height wise, generally from about 70 centimeters to a meter. This one here is 90 centimeters in height. So swim spas are a little bit bigger. Well, the small swim spas will start around about 3 meters, and they go up in length to around about 6 meters, and normally speaking, they're around about 2.1 meters in width. Now, height-wise, they're also a little bit higher. They're around about 90 centimeters to 1.5 meters. And if we just quickly talk about costs of these, the price for swim spas, you're looking at around about 80, up to about 80 to 100,000, starting maybe around about the sort of $20,000 mark. That's for a cheap one, going up to sort of around about 80 to 100,000 for the more expensive ones. These spa pools range from just a standard spa pool from this one. This cost me around about, I think it was about $8,000 to $9,000. But generally speaking, you'd be looking anywhere between $15,000 to around about $30,000, depending on what was installed and the quality and everything. But if you shop around, you certainly can get some bargains. So these, what did you say, like the jacuzzi range? Okay, so that's the jacuzzi range, and they've got what, better all-round pumps and motors and
everything. Yeah, they've got a number of patented technologies which other companies can't copy.
Yeah. So what would that set you back, one that size? That looks a bit bigger than that one.
You're looking around $35,000.
35, and then this one over here.
This would be that's about 16,000.
That's about 16. Yeah. Okay. Looking at placing a spa pool, there, we've got a bit of a size factor. So you've got at least 4 square meters to start with, and then you need to allow at least a meter in front of the spa pool, and you need to allow at least probably around 1.2 where you enter the spa pool, so you can actually step up and get in. And then you need at least another 60 centimeters around the spa pool, so that if it ever needs maintenance, you can actually take off the panels and get to the motors and all the bits and pieces. And the spa cover, you really need around about sort of 60 centimeters for it to be able to, on the other side, to take off. So that's a bit of some of the spacings that you probably will need. And then on top of that, you need to place it in a private area. So spa pools, when you're sitting in the spa pool, you don't want to be exposed to everybody, so you need to be placed in a nice private area. So in this case, we've screened it out using the shrubs, and it's sitting down on a flat surface and therefore it's a little bit lower, so it's easier to screen out. The other thing too, it's got to be within easy access to your main living areas. So when you're walking out to a spa pool, generally it can be a bit cool. So you don't want to be spending a long time walking down to the end of the garden to your spa pool. You want it within easy walking distance to your spa pool. You get in the spa pool, you get out, you can get to your location pretty quickly. The other thing, of course, you will need a flat surface. This is a water feature, and if your alignment's out, then you will be able to see straight away that your spa pool needs to be put on a level surface, so you need to create a flat level surface. The last thing really is you don't really want to, because these are at least 90 centimeters high, you don't want to put it in straight in front of your decking area or your main outdoor living windows, because if you do that, this is going to be a fairly big block. And when not in use, it's got a lid on, so it becomes even higher. So you're looking around about, probably with the lid on, at least a little about 1.1 meters. Now, if you're sitting in your lounge, that's a big block out of view. So normally speaking, you want to locate it to the side out of those main views. Now, installation wise, when you're looking at spa pools, you really need to sort of put them on a solid base, and what they normally recommend is at least 10 centimeters of concrete, reinforced concrete. I would recommend probably going to at least sort of maybe 12 to 15, just to be safe. Spa pools can range from anything from 1 to 3 tons, depending what's involved in them and what size. This one was around about 1 ton, just over 1 ton, and also when you've got the water in, it's another ton on top of that. So you've got 2 tons. So a solid concrete, it's durable, it'll last, and you can level it up. And if you weren't going for concrete, then the other really option is decking, but the decking needs to be reinforced. Okay, so in the spa pool itself, it's got filters and a UV light which will help to keep the water clean. And the filters are in that box there. And also, there's two filters in this pool. Now, also to keep the water clean, we've got to use chemicals. The main chemical that we use to keep it all clean, free of bacteria, is the chlorine granules here, and that's particularly good. Now, sometimes the pool can get a little bit acidic, and therefore we use sodium bicarbonate, and that will just be an alkalinity booster. Occasionally, very occasionally, you'll need to decrease the acidity of the pool. Maybe if you use too much of the alkalinity, but generally speaking, you need much of that. And also calcium hardener if you just want to soften up the water a little bit. Again, don't really use too much of that. So the main ones are these two here, the chlorine and the sodium bicarbonate. And how you know what to do is basically you'll do a quick test on the water using a bit of this bit of paper here, and it will basically shine up different colors, and then you're going to use this to just decide whether you need to add more, to add either increase the alkalinity or decrease it, or add more chlorine, that sort of thing. Generally speaking, pH wise, the pool should be slightly alkaline, around about 7.2 is probably about ideal. So that's the chemicals. Moving on to other things now. Occasionally, if you've got ants around where you're in your property, you need to spray probably just a little bit around the motors and electrical points to stop ants, not directly on the electrical points, but around them, with the more residual surface spray. And don't look at that. And that will keep the ants at bay for at least I think it's around about 3 or 4 months, that one at least. When it comes to draining the pool, we're going to use this today, which is just a submersible pump. There are other options you can use, but I find this one works pretty good. Basically, you're just going to attach a hose pipe to that point there, and then I'm going to drain it to one of our septic mushrooms there, so it's just going to be drained away, and then we're going to refill it. Okay, the last thing I just want to quickly mention is that being outside in all weather, you can see that basically with the sun, we've got some fading here. So to stop that fading of the outside and of the pool cover, I would recommend you put a shade cloth over it, or a wind sail. I've actually bought a large wind sail to put over the spa pool. Or alternatively, if you want to go the extra mile, then I would suggest you buy like a louver system pergola, where it can be protected from the sun. I'll show you an image of that.